Hello, welcome back. This is another video in how to create a fighting fantasy style novel in AGS. So we got in our first room with some text, and we also created an extended function for the buttons, so we can set their location and whether they're on or off, and the text that's going to be displayed in the actual for the actual option. So now we're going to do some room changing, like changing from next one page to the next. Now I've already gone ahead and I've already created some additional pages, or these are rooms, and and just to save on the video, I've already wrote a load of text. So there's a page. So we go into the first page once we've created a character, and then there's some additional setup pages. So there's some more information there, and then you'll continue and you'll go to the third page, and the third page will have our options. So what we need to do is we're going to open up our script page manager, which we wrote. Also, there was a thing that I forgot to do in the last video. We exported our choice 1 function, but we didn't export our other ones. So we should probably just quickly go and do that, because we'll probably need these at some point. Import, would help if it was in the right place. Import function, and that's option 4, so we can use these in other scripts, or room scripts mostly. So it's going to be this is going to be quite messy. As far as I know, there isn't really another kind of clean way to do it, because we don't want a heap of code going into our global script, which is what would be the case if we weren't going to use this page manager script. So say for instance, here's our page GUI, and this is our continue button, which will move us from page 1 to page 2, and then from page 2 to page 3. So if we click on the events tab and on click event, if we click on this, it's going to go straight to the global script and create our next page on click function. Now, if this is going to be a really big novel, then this is going to become huge with all of the different constant, page changing, from one page to the next. And if you've got 300 pages, and say half of that would require you just simply clicking on the next button just to read the next page of text before getting to the choices, this is going to get really big. So to keep the global script as small, as concise as possible, we're going to handle all that in this page manager. So if we're going to put in a function, we're going to create a new function, and this is going to be called next page. Okay, it's not an extended function or anything like that, it's literally just that. And what I'm going to do is, we'll copy that, and we'll go into the page. Oh, that is in the header, that's no good. We'll take that out, and we'll put that in the actual script file. So, in the header, where we exported all our other functions for the choices, import. We're just gonna do that, and we're also gonna create some functions for our choices, because our choices will also take us to different pages. So we'll do function. So we'll do what shall we call it? Choice 1. Choice 1 selected. then we'll do the same for the other choices. So this will be 2. Excuse me. I'm still got a terrible cough. It's been a bad cold, this. And we'll do choice 4. And we're just going to, again, we're going to do an import so we can import these into other scripts. So function, what was it called? Choice 1 selected. So we'll do choice 1 selected. Just do a quick run of the game. No errors. Okay. I'm just going to copy and paste that and just change the numbers. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we have our next page button, and we're gonna these are gonna define where we go when we select a choice. So, for instance, if I go back to our page GUI, we'll select this is choice 2, choice 1. So we'll click on that, and that's going to create our function in our global script for the button control. We'll go back to the page. We'll do option 2. We'll go back to the page. We'll do option 3. And we'll go back to the page GUI, and we'll do option 4. So there we have it. So I might just put a big comment here and say page destinations. So we have that there. So what we'll do is, for the next page button, is we're literally just going to use that function that we just wrote. So we'll use next page function. So we'll go into the global script, and we'll just put that there. So when we click on that button, it's gonna run this function. It'll do whatever's in that next page script function that we've just created. We can get rid of that. So let's get switching from page 1 to page 2. So it's very, very simple, and the easiest way to kind of not get lost with this, especially if this starts getting really, really big, is using comments. So you have an easy reference to where one page is going to the next. So we're in page 1, and we want to go to page 2. So if player dot room equals 1, then what we're going to do is we're going to go player dot change room, and we're going to go to 2. Okay, so if the player is in room 1, and we click on that next button, we're going to go to room 2. So that's so here we'll use our comments. So we'll go page 1 setup part 1. Okay, so then now we're on page 2. So let's go if player dot room equals 2, then the player is going to change room, and we're going to go to 3. So if we click that button again, but we're in room 2, it's going to take us to room 3. So we'll do page 2 setup part 2. And if we're on page, so So essentially that's everything that we need to do there. So here we have it. So if we're on page 1, we'll go to page 2. If we're on page 2, we'll go to page 3. And we'll set this as room options. So that's going to take us to room 3, which will be the options. So let's test this. I've already put the text in for the next rooms, so it saves you watching me trying to blindly write something. Steve, continue. I'll spend some points in weaponry. Continue. So here you go. So as you open your eyes, a splitting pain races through your skull. You find yourself lying on a workbench in a dark, dripping cellar. With your vision still spinning, you manage to sit up and gather your bearings. The smell of rich damp attacks your senses. Whoever attacked you dropped you here like a piece of meat ready for butchering. So let's click the continue button. Ooh, we had an error. Oh, sorry. I removed some stuff from. In a previous tutorial, I added something in the leave room, and I took it out. So that's what it's moaning about. So just if we go to your events tab and just delete, if you delete that, then it should be fine. So here we go. So we'll roll these. Spend our points. Okay, we've just read the first page. So let's click on the continue button. So that's going to take us to page 2. So the basement looks old with crumpled, exposed brick. Luminescent mould covers the grouting that glistens in the twilight. A sturdy wooden door faces you, and a set of old steel shelves, stained with rust, sit against the left wall covered with old boxes and cans. Slipping to the floor, you stand a moment, letting a wave of nausea pass through you. Your revolver is missing. And now we were on page 2, so we're going to click the continue button, and this should take us now to page 3. So feeling more confident on your feet, you assess your predicament. With what you can see, you have 2 available options. Do you wish to? And now we need to set our buttons. And of course, this isn't going to go anywhere because we haven't set that. So let's set our options. So I'm going to go to page 3. So this is our text. So what's the best place to if we go to page, so about there perhaps, wherever that is. So 16 high. If I send that to the back so I can actually click on the button. So yeah, so we're going to go 35 left, 84 top, or 85 top. 35 left, 85 top. So let's go to the room script, and we're going to go choice 1. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that for now. So we need choice 1. So it's going to be on. 35 on the X. What did I say was the height? 80, 85? 85 on the Y. And then the text is going to be check shelves. And then we also want choice 2. So that's going to be true. So the X is going to be 40 perhaps, or we can keep it to 35. We'll set it to 35, and we'll set that to 100, and this is going to be oh, dear me, this cough. It's going to be try wooden door. Okay. So let's run this. So continue, and there we go. Our options could do with being a bit lower, but that's fine. So these don't do anything at the moment. That's okay. So we might set that to 100, and I might set that to 120. Okay. So I think what I'll do is, in one of the previous videos, I was saying that when you do when you're leaving a room in the leave room event, you should be hiding all the buttons. So that's I think the best thing to do would be to automate that, so we're not having to write a number of strings every time, a number of lines every time we have to do this. It'd be better if we just brought in a function that just did that for us. So if we go into our script, page manager script, I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to create a new function, and I'm going to call this page controls off, and literally what we're going to do is we'll do choice 1 is false. We'll just set the position to be 0, 0, it's not important, and we'll set the text that's going to be in the button to be blank, and we're also going to do the same to choice 2, false, 0, 0, blank text, choice 3, false. So we're hiding the buttons here. Choice 4, false, 0, 0. Now we don't have this fancy extended function for the next button, the button that just changes from to the next page. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on the button and get its name. So B next page. We'll go B next page dot visible equals false. B next page dot enabled equals false. Actually, we can just go with setting the visibility to be false. So I'll just take that, and I'm going to go back to the page manager header, and we'll just put that in there. Now the reason why I've just done that is, I shall show you. Import, because you probably never noticed it when we ran the game that first time. So I'm going to roll these. So when we get to the screen that has those two options, to search the shelves or try the door, we don't want this continue button here. We want it switched off. So what we can do is, if we go to the previous room, which is page 2, so we'll load up page 2, and we'll go to the leaves room event and bring that in. We're just gonna call that, so page control off. So that's going to switch off every button, like every button on the page. So all the choice buttons are going to be off, and the next page button will be off when we leave page 2. And when we go into page 3, even though all those buttons are off, if I can load it, go to the event. I put that in the wrong thing. We'll just copy that. Get rid of that. We're supposed to be page 2 that we're supposed to be in. Page 2. So we click on the events tab. We've got our leave function. I'll click on that. So if we put that in there, page controls off. So we're switching everything off. But in page 3, we're switching the buttons that we need back on. So let's run it, and hopefully it'll make sense. So next that, continue. So now our next button's gone because we have our 2 options. Okay. Why don't we do the highlight as well, like we do with that, like we did with that? So I think the best thing to do would be to load up the player's control, because that has the colours that we that we need. So I'm going to actually go into the global script for this, I think. So we'll go into the global script. I'm going to go into the repeatedly execute here. Because we don't want to have to do this in every room that has options in it. Because that would just be a pain in the neck. And it's such a small... It's such a small little bit of code that it's not likely to slow the your computer down by any that much. So we'll do if button dot get at screen xy mouse dot x mouse dot y equals. So it's just choice. A choice and a number, isn't it? So B choice 1. So if it equals that, we'll do B choice 1 dot text color equals 50804, and that's that kind of green, very light green. Else B choice 1 dot text color. I quite like that black actually. We can look at changing it, but it's just 0 anyway. So equals 0. I'm not sure, that must be for the player creation screen, so we can probably put that in the actual player creation room instead of like in the global script. Okay. So that'll be choice 2. This will be choice 3. And this will be choice 4. So at least the buttons should now kind of highlight when we when we mouse over them. So okay, these GUIs are pretty ugly. I mean, like, you know, you can spend a lot more time designing them and making them look pretty for your game. So we'll OK this, we'll OK that. So there we go. We have our text highlighting. I don't like how the text is a bit below the button. That makes it's a bit annoying. What's the alignment like? Middle left. What happens if we do top left? Just out of curiosity. Will that look any nicer? Let's have a look. I'd rather the text was in line with the little pip thing, you know. Nah, not really. So essentially, you would do this exactly the same. So if we go for our choices, so if we go to the global script, we did create the functions already. So we have choice 1 selected, choice 2 selected, choice 3 selected, and 4 selected. So just like we did with the next page, I'll do choice 1 selected. Then we'll do choice 2 selected, choice 3 selected, choice 4 selected. So whenever we click on any of those buttons, it's going to run that function. So let's for instance, let's create a new room in B1, and let's load up the page. Let's give it a name. So this is page 4, shelves. So here we are. So then we have our page 4 shelves. We'll do enters room before fade in event, and we'll do L text body dot text equals, and we'll just say you have checked the shelves. Well done. Slow clap. And also we need to remember that in page 3, so if we load up page 3, the room, and go to the events tab, and we'll do the leaves room. Remember, we need to switch off our buttons because we don't want them to be displayed in the next room. So we'll just do page controls off. So now we have a fourth page, which is the check shelves page. So if we go to our page manager, the first option that was the first option that did the that checked the shelves. So we'll just do if player.room equals, and we are in page 3. That's the page that has the options. So if we're in page 3, room 3, player.change room, and we'll go to room 4, which is the checking the shelves page. And I think option 2 was to check the door, so that might be, for instance, if player.room equals 3, then it would be player.change room, and it would be like 5, and that would be, you moving to the next room in the basement. But we don't have a room 5, so that's going to cause problems. So let's run it and we'll see. Choice 1 selected. Let me have a quick peek. Choice 1 selected. 2, 3, 4. Is it because there's nothing in these functions? Maybe that's why. I'll just try that again. Loading game file, script link failed. So it's something to do with our import and export. Hold on. So if we take that, choice 1, select. Oh. I think. I think that it's something to do with this. I think I just got the name typoed wrong. Man, that cough. So choice 1 selected. There we go. It's just a typo. So if we roll that, roll these, continue, and type. Continue, continue. So here's our options. So we know that this one has been set up, so we'll click on that. And then you have checked the shelves. Well done. Slow clap. So that's essentially how you would do all of your room changing. Import function. May as well get these set up correctly. Three. Import function 4. Yeah, that must have been a typo. It was just a typo with my import of the function. So if I go to my global script, we'll just put these back in. So choice 2 selected. So these are ready to go. Choice 3 selected. And we'll do choice 4 selected. Okay. No compile errors. So there we go. So that's how you would do your page turning. So you never need to look again at this global script. That's as big as your page turning controls is going to get in your global script. So everything from now on is going to be in your page manager. So all your room changing is going to be done in here, and this is going to get huge, obviously, with the way that we're doing it, and it's inevitable. It can't be helped. As long as you do your comments, so you keep things. So page 4, checking shelves. So always remember to make plenty of nice comments so you can quickly look at this and go, okay, that's checking the shelves in that room, and you know what you're doing, because it will get complicated and confusing. So you just try and do the best you can. But this tends to give you the most control, I think. So there we go. So we'll move on to the next tutorial next. So I shall see you then.